When people hear luxury cruise ship, they picture champagne, fancy dinners, maybe somebody in a tuxedo pretending they actually enjoy classical music while quietly judging everybody else in the room. You don't picture something watching you from the end of a hallway. You don't picture hearing footsteps when nobody's there. But then there's the RMS Queen Mary. And this one doesn't fit that clean, polished image people like to imagine. This ship feels like it's got stories it never let go of. And I'm just gonna say it. If I'm walking down one of those long, dim hallways, the kind where the carpet eats your footsteps and the lights feel like they're barely hanging on, and I hear something behind me, I'm not turning around. I'm not investigating. I'm suddenly very committed to minding my business. Back in the early 1930s, the world was dealing with the Great Depression. People were struggling, money was tight, and life wasn't exactly glamorous for most. But at the same time, there was still this push, this need for countries to show power, to prove they hadn't lost their edge. So they built something massive, something impressive. The Queen Mary was designed to be more than just a ship. It was meant to be a statement. Built in Scotland, launched in 1934, and entering service in 1936, it was one of the fastest ocean liners ever created. It held the blue riband for speed across the Atlantic, which basically meant it was the best of the best. And when people stepped on board, they knew it. First-class passengers walked through grand hallways with polished wood and soft lighting, surrounded by Art Deco designs that made everything feel expensive, even if you didn't know what you were looking at. There were ballrooms, lounges, dining areas where people sat in formal wear like that was just a normal Tuesday. Meanwhile, below deck, things were more crowded, more practical, but still, this ship was something special. You could stand out on the deck at night, ocean stretching endlessly in every direction, wind cutting through the silence, and feel like you were in a completely different world. But here's the thing about places like that. They don't just carry people, they carry moments, and not all of those moments stay quiet. Then World War II came in and changed everything. The luxury, gone. The music, gone. They stripped the ship down, painted it gray, and turned it into a troopship. Thousands of soldiers packed into tight spaces, moving across the ocean towards something uncertain. That ship went from being a place of comfort to a place filled with tension, fear, and anticipation. They started calling it the Gray Ghost, partly because of its speed, partly because it could disappear into the fog like it wasn't even there. But imagine the energy on that ship during that time. Young men sitting shoulder to shoulder, writing letters home, trying to act brave while thinking about everything that could go wrong. That kind of emotion doesn't just vanish. It settles into walls, into floors, into spaces. And then there was 1942, the moment people still point to when they talk about why something feels off about this ship. The Queen Mary collided with another ship, the HMS Curacoa. And not just a small accident, it cut straight through it, split it in half. Hundreds of men were thrown into the freezing Atlantic waters. And the Queen Mary didn't stop. Orders were clear: keep moving, don't slow down, don't risk becoming a target. So it kept going, leaving those men behind in the dark, cold ocean. You can try to explain that away with logic, with wartime decisions, with necessity, but moments like that leave something behind. You don't just move on from that like nothing happened. After the war, the ship went back to carrying passengers, trying to return to its former life. But something had shifted. Eventually, it was retired and permanently docked in Long Beach, California, turned into a hotel. And that's when people started noticing things. Not all at once, not dramatic at first, just little things that didn't sit right. Footsteps when nobody was around, doors that wouldn't stay closed, cold spots that made no sense, even in rooms that should have been warm. The kind of stuff you try to ignore because the alternative is admitting something might actually be wrong. Certain areas on the ship started building a reputation. B-deck is one of those places. Long, narrow hallways, low ceilings, dim lighting that never quite feels bright enough. People staying in those rooms have reported hearing knocks on their doors in the middle of the night. And yeah, at first you think it's just another guest. Maybe someone drunk, maybe someone confused. But when you open the door and there's nobody there, and nobody on the cameras either, that's when it stops being easy to explain. That's when you start thinking maybe you shouldn't have opened the door in the first place. Then there's the engine room, specifically an area known as Door 13. A crew member was crushed there years ago during the ship's early days. People say he never left. Workers have reported seeing a figure down there, a man dressed in old uniform, just walking through like he's still on shift. And what's unsettling isn't just seeing him, it's how normal it looks. Like he belongs there, like you're the one out of place for noticing him. One night, security guard said he experienced something that stuck with him long after his shift ended. He was walking through one of the quieter sections of the ship, doing his usual rounds, when he heard footsteps behind him. Fast footsteps, not casual walking, running. So he turned around, expecting to see someone messing around. Nothing. Empty hallway. But the footsteps didn't stop. They kept going, like something ran straight past him, right through him, and continued down the corridor. He said the air went ice cold instantly, like stepping into a freezer that wasn't there before. And it wasn't the kind of cold you shake off. It was the kind that settles into you. Another story comes from a guest who stayed in stateroom B340, one of the most talked about rooms on the ship. She said everything felt normal at first. Quiet, comfortable, nothing unusual. But sometime during the night, she woke up with that feeling, like someone was in the room. Not a noise, not a movement. Just that heavy awareness that you're not alone. She looked toward the corner of the room and saw a figure standing there. Completely still, watching. She said her body locked up like she couldn't even move at first, and when she finally managed to scream, the figure was gone. The next morning, she didn't stick around to analyze it. She packed up and left, and honestly, I don't blame her. Down near the old first-class pool, things get even stranger. The pool has been empty for years. No water, no activity, just silence. But people still report hearing laughter, specifically a little girl. Light, playful, like she's just enjoying herself. One visitor said she heard splashing and walked closer, trying to figure out where it was coming from. And when she looked into the pool, she saw ripples moving across the surface. Except there was no water. The pool was dry. Completely dry. And yet something was moving like it wasn't. As time goes on, the stories don't just continue, they escalate. People talk about feeling something touch them, not accidentally brushing against something, deliberate contact, hands on shoulders, fingers grazing arms, quick, sudden, gone before they can react. Others say they hear their names being whispered, soft enough to question it, clear enough to know it wasn't their imagination. And what makes it worse is when it happens to more than one person at the same time. When two people look at each other and realize they both heard it, that's when it stops being something you can explain away. Some people believe it's the history, the thousands of lives that passed through, the emotions left behind. Others think it's tied to specific moments, the collision, the deaths, the fear that filled the ship during wartime. And then there are those who think it's not just one thing, that it's everything layered together, building over time, creating something that doesn't just stay quiet. Because the Queen Mary isn't abandoned, that's what makes it different. People still stay there, still walk those hallways late at night, still sleep in rooms where other people have experienced things they couldn't explain. And most nights, it probably feels normal, comfortable even, until something small happens, something easy to ignore at first, a sound, a feeling, a moment that doesn't sit right, and maybe you brush it off, maybe you laugh about it. But later, when it's quiet, when the lights are out and you're alone with your thoughts, it comes back, and it doesn't feel like nothing anymore. So if you ever find yourself there, standing in one of those long hallways, looking down into the dim light where everything feels just a little too still, and you get that feeling like something's watching you, don't stop to figure it out. Don't try to make sense of it. Just keep moving. Because whatever's there has had a long time to figure things out, and if it wanted to make itself known, you probably wouldn't get a warning first. And if you made it this far, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because there are a lot more places like this out there. And trust me, not all of them are as quiet as they seem. Some stories don't end when you think they do. Some places don't let go.